Hi guys, so today's video is going to be all about how to enjoy reading more. Jumping into it, the first tip is to find a way to make reading something you experience with other people. What's great about reading is it can be very solitary, and usually is, so it doesn't require other people, but I find that when you have somebody to talk to, I just think it enhances the experience even more. I know for a lot of people though, they don't have individuals in their own lives that really like reading, which is why there are so many great resources online that can help you, as well as things through local bookstores and things like that. So a lot of times you can find through your work, there might be buddy reads and book clubs that you can join, and same with local bookstores. But then there are plenty of things that you can do that don't require that you go out and leave your house, especially right now with quarantine. Also, because of the fact that not all of us want necessarily to meet face to face. We kind of want to experience it with other people from the comfort of our own home. And there's so many ways you can do that. One of my favorites is to find live streams of people chatting about books that you like. You can also find fandom websites. You can do buddy reads. There are also tons of readathons that people host here on BookTube and on their own individual blogs. And then there are a lot of Discord servers where people are chatting specifically about books, as well as Bookstagram, which is Instagram, but the little corner of Instagram that's dedicated to chatting about books and taking pretty pictures of books. That, of course, is all to do with other people and experiencing reading with other people in some fashion. But if you are looking to just stick to reading all by your lonesome, you don't need other people, but you want to enjoy literally reading a book by yourself more, I think setting the mood is really helpful. For those of us that have seen Friends, it's like Chandler with taking a bath, where he just thinks like, oh, it's gonna be gross, and Monica shows him how to really love a bath. I feel like you can do the same thing for reading. I love listening to ambiance. I love turning on the TV and finding like a crackling fire or a waterfall, basically the things I wish I could experience all the time. You can also listen to music while you read. I have a couple of playlists linked down below. Maybe you can find some things that are good for reading, because I don't really feel like music with words is my particular favorite. Maybe it is for you. Beyond that, I think just also having nice things to smell, candles, or for those of you that like essential oils, that's a great way to set the reading mood. And on top of that, deciding if you enjoy reading indoors or outdoors, depending on if the weather allows it to be outdoors. But when it's a nice day outside, going outside and reading, it's the best. The next way to enjoy reading more has to do with just embracing fandoms. So finding fan art of your favorite characters or drawing the fan art yourself, even if it's terrible, is so fun to do. And fan art is great for series that have a lot of it because it helps you visualize the characters more. I also think it's really cool if you're reading fantasy to look into fan theories and make predictions for books that are coming out. It's so fun. It's, I think, really exciting to see what people think is going to happen and dissecting all the little details. And while I don't personally necessarily do this myself, I think that a lot of people really get enjoyment out of fan fiction, writing it and reading it, as well as doing cosplay or following other people who do cosplay of their favorite book characters. Next up, we have adaptations. I think anytime you are looking to get more into reading and get back into reading, adaptations are great, but I also think they just kind of enhance the experience even more because you have some other art form that's bringing the story to life. And it's so cool when they're not perfectly aligned, because then you can kind of see the differences and you can be that annoying person that's like, it's different in the books, which I always get a kick out of. And then you have people that are like, who cares? But I just think it's fun and kind of trivial, but it's a good time. This also kind of ties back into the first one about community, because you can, if it's a movie or a TV show, you can watch an adaptation with another person and then you can go back and read the books together. If it's a video game, you can play it together, or you can have a person watch while another person plays. Next up would be either doing your own book reviews or watching and reading other people's book reviews. And one of my favorite things to do, even though for some people they find this really upsetting, I think it's hilarious to look up 1-star reviews of books I like and books I don't like, because if you don't like it, then you're like, finally, somebody I can relate to. But then if you love it, you're like, how the heck did they think this about this book? Or sometimes you're like, Okay, I kind of see what they're talking about there. But either way, it's one of my favorite things to do. I have a whole playlist of videos that are just me finding 1-star reviews for popular books. I think it's so much fun. And I think making your own reviews, I find it to be a really fantastic way to help remember what happens in books, as well as kind of help you discover what you do and don't like, because you have to sort of explain it. I have always heard that the best way to retain information is to give that information to someone else, so teaching it in a sense. But in a review, it's similar. You relay information about a book to someone else, so it helps you remember. And like I said, it helps you discover what you do and you don't like, because you'll start to recognize patterns of, okay, maybe I thought I was a plot-driven reader, but maybe I'm a character-driven reader, or maybe I like more detail in my books rather than less detail. You kind of start to pick apart the things, discover what you like a little more, which leads us into the next one, which is discovering your genre and your tastes. These basically go hand in hand, so there's not much to say about this. Some people enjoy reading a bunch of different genres, different age ranges. Some people have their very specific thing that they like, and you just gotta try them out. You just gotta try different things, see what's your flavor. The next thing would be something that I personally, when I was getting back into reading after college, never thought I would like. I was so sure that I would hate it, and now it'd be audiobooks. But if you get a good audiobook, it is such a great way to experience a story. If you're a fantasy fan, I actually just made a whole video of some of my absolute favorite audiobooks, so I'll have that link down below. But audiobooks are fantastic for if you have a long commute, and especially if you have to drive and you can't ride some kind of public transportation where you could read a physical book. If you have to drive, and you could listen to something else if you wanted, but also it's a great way to get into a story. They're just the best. The next tip is just to accept your reading speed, whatever you're at currently. Don't worry about being as fast of a reader as other people. If you're somebody who likes to watch BookTube, YouTube dedicated to books, then you've probably seen people who are reading upwards of 10 to 20 books in a month. And even somebody like myself who does have a decent amount of time to read, I'm like, how are people reading like 16 books consistently? So don't worry about it. So many people are always talking about how to read faster, which there's nothing wrong with if that's something you want to do. But that's why I made this, is because I care more about enjoying what I'm reading, not just getting through it as quick as I can. Not that that's the only reason people are reading faster. I'm not saying you can't do both, but I just want to soak things in and have a good time and enjoy them and embrace them and learn from them and gain more empathy from them. There's so many great things about reading beyond just reading quickly. And I did a whole video a while back about why you shouldn't compare yourself to other readers. I'll have that link down below as well. But either way, I think that if you're very comfortable reading one book in a month, one book in a season, one book every 6 months, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you have the time for, just embrace it. I think it's great. If you're reading, awesome. If you're enjoying it, that's awesome. The last thing on this list would be to know when a book is not working for you. So DNFing, did not finish. It is something I need to work on myself, because when you're reading a book and you don't like it, there's a difference between, okay, this is just a slower beginning, which happens. There's a difference between that and I'm hating this book. I don't like this book. It's just so not my thing. And then pushing through it anyway because you feel like you have to. I am so bad about that. And when I have a book that I'm not liking and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. It makes me so excited, because then I'm like, I can read something else that I'm liking. So if you're somebody who feels like you have to finish every single book you read, you don't. It's really okay. You don't have to finish them. It's so freeing to put it down, and it just helps you get out of that slump. Plus, maybe you're not even hating the book, but it's just not what you're in the mood for currently, because some people are mood readers. Again, just put it down, save it for later, pick up something else, and you'll probably enjoy the experience a lot more. Anyway, that is it for some tips on enjoying reading more. Let me know what tips you have. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll have all relevant videos linked down below. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.